You're tuned into Visions, a business and community affairs program designed to encourage and promote entrepreneurship in Central Alabama.
Thanks for tuning in to another edition of Vision. Cedric Varner, we're excited about our guest, the Honorable Mayor of the City of Montgomery, Mayor Todd Strange. Mayor, thanks again for coming to be with us. It's been a little while since we had a chance to talk.
Well, you know, it always goes by so fast, and we got so much going on, so we'll make good use of this 15 minutes or so.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you so much, and we always enjoy it and try to catch up on a lot of the things that's been happening since we talked. And so I gave you the rundown of some of the things we might be able to talk about today. And
we can't get to them all.
Honestly. So one of the things that we said we would talk about is the new budget for the city, which was recently passed, and it's not $250 million, $254.
You know, it's the first time that I can remember, and I've asked some of the other city council, that I've ever got a unanimous budget. But we had proposed a $250 million budget, which included $2 million reduction in our sanitation expense, but prevailed staying 3 days a week, going by, getting trash and debris rather than the two that we had proposed. And so there's another $4 million. So it's a $254 million. It's a balanced budget that will allow us to put another $1 million in our reserves, which we'll get up around 26, 27 million. There's a lot more money in there for paving, more money for our public safety side of the equation, not only for just their normal raises, but also to fill in some gaps. It does allow all of our employees who deserve it to get merit raises, and there is $100,000 in there that is dedicated to looking at additional revenue sources. Because if you take the top 22 cities by terms of revenue, we're number 18 in terms of per capita revenue. So there's got to be a way that we can get more revenue into the equation, because our citizens demand and certainly are entitled to goods and services delivered. And so from that standpoint, if you're going to have more police, you're going to have more fire, you're going to have more sanitation, you're going to have some additional revenue. So that's an opportunity to really see what we could tweak. You know, you can always cut expense, which we've been doing, but at the same time, when you get about 30 or 40,000 people coming into Montgomery to live, to work, that live elsewhere, they're using our services, and not like yesterday, but today they can spend money for groceries and gas and other things in their own community. So that is an issue that we're going to have to address.
Well, I heard you mention one of the items that I saw there was a debate about paving. Of course, many of the councilmen and the residents want to make sure their area is paved.
Well, that's right, because they do have 9 districts that they do, but at the same time, we also got to understand that every district is in the city of Montgomery, and the district council people want to pave their neighborhoods, and we do too, but you got to connect those neighborhoods as well. So that takes additional money. But we're going to have about $3.5 million, which will get 35 or 40 miles of streets. We probably got 100, 110 that really do need to be paved. It just takes so long to get it done. We've been working on West Fairview now almost 5 years. Ann Street, same amount of time. We're year 3 on Zelda Road, and we still haven't gotten there. Court Street, I believe the lights into the tunnel towards the latter, well, I think it'll actually be February of next year. We'll start putting the asphalt down. Everything else is ready to go. West Fairview is probably a year away. Zelda, we've just in the finishing phases of West Fair. So those connector roads have to be done as well as the neighborhoods. But we'll get that over a two or so year period of time.
So you say Court Street, you know, the street we take coming into the station.
Yeah,
at least we got.
It's terrible. It's been terrible for a long time. It took 6 months to get the engineer approved. It's taken almost a year and a half to get the utilities relocated, because you got to get rights of way, get those done. You got to get your curbs, you got to get your gutters. All of that is now ready to be paved, and I believe that'll get, as a matter of fact, I've been told that the contract will be let in February.
Okay, all right. Well, one of the other big events that happened recently in the news was a fire at Booker T. Washington Magnet.
BTW.
And so we got, I guess over the last month, got everybody relocated, and so now begins the rebuild effort or the launch for the, the new facility.
Well, great kudos goes to the principal, school board, the superintendent, because they moved swiftly and decisively We don't want that to be the permanent home. The community came together. It has been a vast outpouring of support. I know they appreciate it. I know we appreciate it. The debris is being removed right now. We're actually doing that with our landfill forces on the weekends. School board will pay a small amount of money compared to what the other contract is. I believe while we have no real authority in that, I believe the school board, particularly the administration, superintendent and her cadre will begin internal discussions because it's going to take 2+ years, even once you make the decision as to where that relocation is going to go, how you to get there. There are a lot of schools that need attention, but obviously BTW is at the top of the list because now they have been displaced.
Yeah. So there was a story in the newspaper, of course, we saw, and of course we're going to have insurance payout, but we got to support. We got to support it to get the new building.
Yeah, a new school is going to be in that $30–40 million range. There's going to be $7.5 million of hard money. I think the difference between that and say 10 or 11 computers and some of the softer money, 7.5. But there's another $4 million that's been around for a while for Performing Arts Center for BTW. So you got 10 or 11. So take that off of 30 or 40. You're going to have to come up with 20 or 25 million, depending upon where you go and what it looks like and what program you want to do. Our goal as a community is to have all of our schools magnet quality. Now that's maybe unrealistic in the near term, but we've got to expand the capacity of magnets to be able to continue to have good graduates there. The secret, though, to our school system are the parents. We've got to get parental involvement because parents at the school board, at their schools, they're going to demand good principals. They're going to demand good teachers. So we've got to engage the parents of our community just to make sure that we get the right people elected to the Board of Education, we got the right leadership in place, and that they're actively involved in the lives of their children.
Well, you mentioned the principal of BTW, of course, that's Dr. Quasia Starks, and certainly want to commend her and her team and all of MPS superintendent.
They've done a marvelous job, and I bet you she's got a thought or two about where she would like to see the future. She's been there 15 years, done a marvelous job. It is a unique situation. They've got all different kind of labs and things like that. So we stand ready, along with the county, to support that every way we can. We probably got, I don't know, maybe $100 million of capital cost in these schools. You know, while our per student ratio is low, it's not as low as it shows because what's not included is the debt service on that $100 million that we, the city and the county, pick up that never goes through the Board of Education budget. But it is low. I know the county has got some ideas about trying to raise additional 6 mills, which would be about $18 million annually. I'll leave that to Chairman Dean and the others to talk about that because that is that county function, and we'll just see where that goes. The first thing we got to do is make sure that advanced ed report comes in and we lose that under review status because there is an accreditation review that will come in the May timeframe. I personally believe in my conversations with the superintendent and the intervention team, they are making good progress. We know on the financial side there's some progress being made, and so hopefully in the December timeframe when they come back, we'll hear that progress is being made. They'll continue their accreditation, drop under review, and then we can claim a mini victory and begin the march towards real live school system that we can be proud of.
That's great. That's great. Well, speaking of the word progress, you know, I was driving downtown and, you know, the downtown renovation progress still moving forward. I was passing by the Bell Building. Well, I guess it's formerly known as the Bell Building. I look up and, you know, it got renovation on the side. I mean, what?
That kind of went under the radar screen. Out-of-state developer, got some financing, and I think the number's about 82 apartments that are going to go in there, pretty strategically located. I know that Troy certainly appreciates that, but it just puts another 80 or so units downtown, because at the end of the day, the more units, the more residents we have downtown, the quicker we're going to get that downtown grocery store. And to tell you that we're not trying, I'd be telling incorrectly. We've got opportunities to have conversations. We will have conversations, but at the end of the day, it's all about the market. And if we can get 15, 16, 17, 2,000 is kind of the magic number. I believe we got about 14 or 1,500 residents downtown in the central business district, and if we could add another 300 or 400, I think it'd be well on our way to getting that known grocery store. Today, there's 2 or 3 places you can get grocery product down there, but it's not the grocery store.
I understand. Well, speaking of downtown and progress, renovation, EJI, Equal Justice Initiative, the report said there has been 300,000 people who've come to the area.
That's the number that Brian Stevenson used just last week in New York. We were in New York for their big gala up there, had 1,000 people. He said that some 300,000 had been through there since it opened. We feel it. Business is up 20, 30% in that travel hospitality industry. We've got 3 hotels that are actually under construction, another 2 that's on the drawing boards in our planning organization for approval. We continue to lead the state. We've had meetings just this week, and it's only a day into it, or 2 days into it. Another hotel wants to come to Montgomery. But at the same time that we've had those 300,000, other venues in Montgomery, like the Little White House of the Confederacy, are having record crowd. So it's not just about our civil rights. It's about the continuum of history, and we have a great history since 1819 when the 2 cities came together. Because next year, in December 3rd, we'll have our 200th, along with the state of Alabama, who just 11 days later, on the 14th of December, will have their 200th centennial anniversary.
That's good. That's good. Well, I like that, and also, as you mentioned about Brian Stevenson, and we've got to go here in about 30 seconds. They added the bookstore and the coffee shop right next to the museum.
They haven't finished yet.
Wow.
It's going to be exciting.
Wow. Wow. That's excellent. Well, now October 25th strategic plan. 15 seconds.
Never before in 50 years have we had a comprehensive strategic plan. It's in process right now. An outside group, Planning Next, is doing it. October 25th at the AccuDome around 5 or 6 o'clock, there will be an opportunity for everybody to come express their opinion about what they'd like to see over the next 20 years.
Excellent. As always, Mary, as you said, we never have enough time, so we'll just keep inviting you back so we can add on.
Cedric.
Thanks for coming to be with us. Thanks for watching on this segment of Visions, which is being brought to you by Certified Technical Experts Incorporated with Mayor Todd Strange. Please stay tuned. We'll be right back.